So I got a question for you now. After Aleksei Oleinik lost to Sergey Spivak over the weekend, do you think it's time for him to retire?
I don't know. Probably not quite yet. Just because I like to go off people's records, and I believe he's only got maybe a 2-fight losing streak so far.
Because he lost to Derek Lewis last year as well, and then I think he didn't fought since then because he had a pretty active year last. He had a pretty active year last year.
Yeah. With Aleksei Oleinik, he's definitely he's an interesting fighter to watch because he is quite old, but he's very, very good on the ground. He's got a little bit of unnatural ways in where he cools down in between fights, the legs up in the air and with the ice on his chest. But he's a cool guy to watch on the ground. He's very, very technical. He's
got those Russian genes, you know what I mean? For those ones that make you age really, really slowly. Because he's the oldest fighter in the UFC. Not even that, but he's been fighting in a UFC since 1996 or something like that. No,
MMA?
So he's been in MMA since 1996 professionally. He's been one of the longest active MMA fighters.
I think he's 59 and 17 or something.
Some ridiculous record. Like
he's had about 73 disclosed MMA bouts professionally.
That's you go.
Insane.
I think he has had the most MMA bouts as well.
I would say so. It's very hard for you to get anywhere near that kind of number because MMA produces so many injuries in between training and then, in between bouts in training. Yeah. And then when you're in bouts as well, there's a huge amount of damage,
how he can sustain that much.
It's insane. He's so good on the ground. Yeah. He's so good on the ground.
He is brilliant on the ground, but I was surprised Sergey Spivak was pretty fucking good on the ground too.
He was.
There were some times where he had him like in a tight bulldog choke.
It was he was basically just trying to, when he was on the ground, just trying to smother him. It looked like perhaps with Sergey is that the issue was maybe cardio for him. I understand it's in a completely different division than especially the lower weight divisions, right? And the guy has power. He's very, very tough, very durable, and he's got power and things like that. I just felt Oleinik was trying to take him down and try to beat him with output and trying to smother him. And Spivak, it was basically that the second and third rounds was when Spivak actually started turning up the output a little bit. He just looked a little bit tired in those bouts. That's all. But with Oleinik, I don't think he should retire yet, to be honest. He's one of those guys that's similar to like a Jan Blachowicz and things like that. They've got crazy genetics and they've got that old man strength. Yeah. So I feel like Oleinik can still continue to fight based off his record. The time is probably up soon. Yeah. So he might as well continue until he's cut. Yeah. But honestly, dude, I'm still impressed with him by his age and the performances he does and things like that. Because it wasn't that long ago that he was on the main card of the Conor McGregor versus Cowboy fight. Yeah, and everyone was saying, and I won money on Oleinik because I think he was fighting was it Maurice Green? Oh, okay. And he was a prospect coming up, and everyone was. Like, I was looking at the odds, I'm like, nah, Oleinik is damn good on the ground. Yeah. And I bet money on him, and he was part of one of my multis, and I was so happy he won because he would have fucked it for the entire night. He would have fucked my whole night up.
What's the deal with these multi-bets? Like, why is it people want to gamble so much on, like, okay, they'll get so they can build up some kind of a streak? Yeah.
Multis is basically just like, so if there's not too much of a payout or like there's not much of an advantage betting on one fight, then you could bet on 2 or 3 fights. So essentially to get your overall odds will increase based on each individual fight's own odds as well as how many you do. So I would have a much higher multi if across 6 different fights and them all winning than 3 different fights. But those 6 fights could be quite
Because they can go one way or the other, really.
They can go one way or the other, right? But they get very, very risky.
Yeah.
And I was being very risky because Oleinik was kind of the one that was pulling all the ones together. But no, he saved it for the night. I think Oleinik is, to be that old, and I believe he's still 10 in the rankings.
Yeah, he's in the top 10.
That's insane.
Yeah,
That's
especially
fucked.
at that age too. And Sergey Specs is a hot star as well. He's coming up. He's 12-2. Now he's 12-3.
Yeah. I don't actually know. I don't actually think he was ranked.
No.
I don't think he was ranked when he fought.
Yeah, but he
Oleinik.
wanted a ranked opponent though after his last
Yeah, I
performance,
think
so that would make sense.
Yeah.
Well, who do you reckon could be next for Oleinik, really? I mean,
I don't know.
There's not really many.
With Oleinik, he tends to be given a lot of unranked opponents as of late, basically to see if they're any good and things like that. Most likely the UFC will follow that same pattern. So I would say that, I would do that.